Hello everyone, friends. My name is Katya Sergeyenko and I am an astrologer. Today I want to talk about a very important transit that starts from October 16th to October 28th. So for about 10 days we will experience a powerful conjunction of Mercury, Mars and Lilith, which will come together in Scorpio. This is a very powerful sign, and in general the conjunction with Lilith itself is quite mystical. On top of that, we also have the sign of Scorpio influencing things. Scorpio adds to this, and it all creates a very interesting period that we will all face, a time when everything hidden and secret may come to the surface, or rather, will definitely come to the surface. The main thing is to notice exactly where this is happening for you and how to act correctly in such situations. What you have been hiding for a long time, what we have all been hiding, avoiding, or not realizing, now wants to be experienced at last. This is the story we've been suppressing, kind of brushing aside, telling ourselves it's nothing serious, it'll work itself out somehow. But now it's going to come up so that we can finally deal with it. In this video, I'll explain how this conjunction will affect our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Why is it being experienced so intensely through relationships this time? And how will the different elements of the zodiac signs feel this flow? Each in their own way. Let's start by figuring out what this conjunction is and why it's needed. Lilith is our shadow, repressed part, the part of our psyche. It reveals our fears, our desires, everything we've ever suppressed in ourselves in order to be good, to appear good. Mercury is our mind, our thoughts, our conversations, while Mars is our actions, willpower, and impulse. And when these two planets meet in the sign of Scorpio, this is the sign of depth, the sign of passion, the sign of transformation. We start to think, speak, and act from the deepest layers of our psyche, from those very places where the real truth lives, the truth we used to turn away from so strongly. Let me say right away, this is not a light or easy conjunction at all. It can expose, it can explode, it can bring out anger, jealousy, and inner conflicts. Yes, but it is precisely through things like this that true understanding of the situation comes, that a real reaction and clarity about what you actually want, about how you really want things to be going forward, arise. Because you can't heal what you don't see, what you truly don't see, what you are closing yourself off from. We often put certain states, certain screens on ourselves that suppress the real core inside. And such connections are very rare. It's a rare kind of connection, and they show exactly where and what we have been hiding from ourselves. How will this affect relationships and communication? This period now, yes, from the 16th to the 28th, is a time when everything is on edge, especially for couples, yes, especially in relationships between people. Issues of control may surface, issues of jealousy may come up. Some secrets that were kept from you, for example, or that you kept from your partner, as well as needs for power, like wanting to tame or possess something or someone, may also come up. You may indeed notice that you start speaking much more sharply than is usual. And truly, words now, at this very moment, during this particular period of time, words become an essential tool, a powerful tool to bring forth the absolute truth and to deeply experience certain profound pain. But also, thanks to honest conversations with someone or honest conversations with yourself, you can find that very truth. The danger of this transit is that Lilith can turn your dialogue with someone into a power struggle. You'll feel the urge to prove something, to put someone in their place, to uncover some secret, someone else's lie, or to say something. But beneath all of this often hides your own personal fear of being truly vulnerable, of being rejected as if you're being pushed out and you're afraid of that, so you start to attack. In other words, you take on the role of the aggressor, defending yourself even before anything happens, as if you can sense it coming. This is a period of heightened emotions when you feel like something is about to happen. Something is about to happen, and you urgently need to come up with some situation. You need to attack first so that you don't get shaken up, specifically emotionally and psychologically. So, this is quite a crisis period, specifically a crisis period in the sense that we can really wind ourselves up, overthink things, imagine problems that aren't there, and even actually do something unnecessary because there's this some kind of feeling of heightened tension. Like something is about to happen, something is about to explode, especially if some acute situation has been bothering you for a long time. Right now, we might just feel as if an explosion is about to happen. And if you start reacting very strongly, abruptly, If you start attacking someone, well, of course, that's possible and sometimes necessary. Yes, maybe it's a situation that really does require honest conversations. But what I mean is, it's easy to get carried away right now, to say things that will be very, very hard to take back later. So you need to look at the situation, yes, but if you have some kind of secret, for example, from your partner, and you realize that it's hard for you to keep it, that it's starting to overwhelm you, it's better to talk openly because it might come out in a way that's not exactly, well, pleasant. If you feel irritation during these days, stop for a moment. Don't rush to blame yourself or someone else. Just ask yourself what exactly you don't want to feel right now. What exactly is happening at this moment? Sometimes behind anger, there is a certain kind of pain. Behind sarcasm, when we try to hurt someone, there is a personal grievance, for example. Behind the urge to control someone or urgently dig into certain situations to find something out lies the fear of loss, the fear of loneliness, and so on. In other words, you need to figure out why you want to dig deeper and why someone is digging into you, what exactly is happening with that particular person. The strength of this period, of course, lies in honesty, but honesty without violence, so that it doesn't happen that you go too far or get so tangled up that you start to lose your mind. This state of panic attacks can occur now, and if someone suffers from this, it's important to ground yourself, to stabilize yourself. How does this in general affect our thinking and our inner dialogue? We might suddenly start to see the truth now, the truth that we previously didn't want to notice ourselves, to discover some kind of self deception, to realize that you are doing something not out of love, but out of fear. It's like, being in a state when you keep doing the same things all the time or live in a certain place, but suddenly you start to notice that a new building has appeared here or some new detail has emerged, even though you encounter this every day. Suddenly there's some interesting moment, and it's as if you realize that you've been blindly, constantly, for a very long time, passing by some situation or some place. These days, we might notice some interesting nuances. We start to hear our inner monologues, what we constantly talk about, much louder than before. This is exactly the danger for those who like to overthink. There's a risk of winding yourself up. It's better, of course, not to push yourself right now, because this urge to really understand the situation, to get to the bottom of things, might intensify. If something, for example, is coming up right now, it will be especially noticeable if you're studying something. Let's say you bought some kind of course, or you're starting to learn something new, like driving, for instance. This is a great period because right now you can really go through this training very quickly and intensively and actually learn it. But if you're just overthinking, just because thoughts keep coming and you start picking them up, you start blowing them out of proportion. That's the problem. So the intellect becomes a tool for transformation, but there's a trap of falling into paranoia, of analyzing things to exhaustion. When instead of feeling, we start breaking everything down into pieces, whether it's necessary or not. I would even say that these days it's more important to experience your emotions than to try to figure everything out. To try to figure things out and analytically come to an understanding of how everything works here. So if you feel some kind of inner noise, it's important to write it down. Keep journals if you like, talk things out, say them out loud. In other words, share with someone who will listen to you, and it will make things easier for you. As for the energy of action, let's talk about how it will manifest. Mars is very strong in this position. It gives a powerful impulse to make a decision, to break through, to finally say or do something that you previously wouldn't agree to or didn't have the courage for. This is not a time for making plans. It's a time for action, truly a time to act. So if you've been hesitating about something for a long time, now is the very best period to go for it. If you feel like you want to break out of stagnation, assert your boundaries, or for example, end some toxic relationships or break up with someone, this is a perfect and suitable window for that. It's just important to act not out of revenge, not from some unconscious impulse, but from a mature position with the understanding that I'm doing this because I know it will be better for me. It's not about proving something to someone else, it's about choosing myself. Those are two different things. And right now, it's good to redirect your energy into something physical, into the body, movement, sports, dancing, using your voice, breathing exercises. All of that works well because when the body moves, the mind clears and your thoughts don't bother you as much. And the energy needs to pass through a certain form, otherwise, it will build up inside and explode. By form, I mean the body. Let's talk about how to feel the different elements, how this flow is experienced, specifically by the zodiac signs. The earth signs, that is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, We'll feel this period, this conjunction, as internal pressure. That is when everything that seems stable to you for some time starts to shake. Anxiety may arise, a feeling that you are losing control, that you can't cope. This is exactly the kind of moment when the strength grows in the ability to not cling to the old, but to allow change to happen at all, to allow change to let go of control. Because right now, you might have this feeling that I'm not controlling anything and it's really unsettling me. When you physically feel this very strong tension, you might even feel spasmodic impulses in your body, like something is uneasy. You want to rock back and forth, walk around, move somehow. All of this is because of anxiety, because of the feeling that you're supposed to be controlling something here. But in reality, we don't control anything here. And it's important to understand for yourself that the more you cling to something, the more it slips away from you. And as for recommendations, the best thing you can do is focus on your body, do some practices, grounding, yes, like breathing exercises. This will be much better than constantly being stuck in your thoughts. The most important thing is to take concrete actions, not to escape into anxiety. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius may experience mental overload, meaning it will specifically affect the mind, so to speak, and there will be a feeling that everything too much, yes, too many conversations, too many people, too much energy. Mercury is stirring things up, pulling words out of your subconscious that you didn't want to say. It's that feeling when you accidentally say something or accidentally think something, but you really didn't want to say it. This is a moment when you might hurt someone not meaning to, or you might suddenly get some insight, some understanding of a situation, or something might suddenly resolve itself, or you might tell someone the truth to their face, even though you never intended to do that. And thanks to this, somehow the situation will start to unfold. Whether that's good or bad is another matter, but the fact is that's just how it needs to be. If something like this happens, it's meant to happen. What advice can I give? The most important thing is to speak, but don't overanalyze it if you end up saying something wrong. Just let this stream of thoughts out of you, whether it's in writing, by voice, through conversation, however you like. The main thing is that it comes out, that you don't keep silent, that you don't wind yourself up. Let's put it this way: the truth will reveal itself not through logic, but through a sense of what feels right. Because as long as you stay silent, if you have some thought brewing inside and you don't act on it or don't tell the person, you'll just start blowing it up in your own head. Why do you need that? Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, might experience this period as a burst of energy, a surge of passion, a desire to act, to change things, to break something down. This might manifest as aggression, or it might come out through action, like finally wanting to achieve something or make an important decision for yourself. But it's important here not to burn out, not to exhaust yourself. Understand that this period will come to an end. So, it's a very powerful surge of energy. You'll have a lot of strength, a lot of energy. You'll start something new, but then once October 28th is over, there will be a sharp decline. So, if your natal chart doesn't have a strong connection between Mercury and Pluto, if that's not typical for you, then you might just feel a sudden drop in energy afterwards. You need to be prepared for this. If you're starting something now, go ahead and do it. Do it quickly, and you'll get great results. Because if you think, oh, I'll start now and continue in 2 weeks, there just won't be any energy left for it by then. This is an energy that demands a sudden burst and sharp focus. So, in terms of recommendations, here's what I can advise: channel all your energy into movement, sports, creativity, and taking initiative. If you want to do something, don't wait for someone else to do it yourself. If you start arguing with someone, you'll just waste your resources. Right now, you shouldn't be discussing things or talking to people, you should be taking action. If you take action, you'll overcome stagnation, especially if something in your life has been stuck for a long time. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, will feel and experience this transit more deeply than anyone else because it's an emotional wave. This is when all that was hidden becomes revealed. It's about memories, old grievances, feelings that were suppressed or never let go. They may surface now. Triggering situations may come up, and certain old relationships may resurface as well. But most importantly, don't close yourself off. Don't suppress any of this going forward. If intense emotions come up, make sure to experience them, accept them, live through them. Don't suppress them, because otherwise they might manifest physically later on. In fact, all the emotions that are coming up now are about cleansing, about the opportunity to truly let go, to really start a new chapter. So allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to write, allow yourself to be silent, but don't suppress it. The most important thing is not to suppress it, not to pretend that everything is fine. If you feel bad, don't pretend that everything is okay, because that is exactly what suppression is. Don't put on a mask. Go deeper to figure out what you're really feeling. A general recommendation for everyone on how not to explode: don't make decisions at the peak of your emotion. This is important because if you decide something, you need to understand that there will be no way back. There might be a way back, of course, but it will be quite difficult. You need to think, why do I need this? Especially in relationships. Don't act rashly. Don't act rashly if you realize you still need this relationship. Don't try to get to the truth at any cost. This too can be very unpleasant in the end. Right now, it's important to let go, not to destroy. I would even say that there are practices that help with this: water, showers, baths, swimming, breathing, like a long exhale, especially with sound, is very grounding. And movement, like exercise, is essential to incorporate every day. In fact, this transit acts like a mirror, showing us what we've actually known for a long time but were afraid to see. Like when you didn't want to, or it wasn't the right time, or you didn't feel like dealing with it. Well, now here it is, all coming to the surface. Yes, this transit is about working on yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, about the strength that comes when you stop denying your shadow qualities and openly start dealing with the situation that's happening instead of trying to avoid it, to dodge it somehow. This is about honesty, and honesty first and foremost with yourself. Because you might not say something to someone, you might stay silent, you might say that everything is fine. But who are you really helping by doing that? That's the question. Right now, it's very important to simply ask yourself what you really feel, where you're pretending to be someone you're not, just because you're afraid to be yourself, because you think that if you act differently, this person will leave or something in your life will fall apart. Allow yourself to honestly answer, at least to yourself, these questions. And if this video resonated with you, write in the comments what is coming up for you right now. And please let me know if you want me to go through each zodiac sign specifically and talk about which emotional states will be coming up.